Hello, sixth graders, section 4.2, and we're going to talk about slope. Now, the great news is just about a month ago, we did slope, but we didn't go into the depth that we're going to go to in chapter 8's book. So, 4.2, definition of slope, here's our key idea. So our key idea talks about slope. Now, as you remember from when we did slope last, we just talked about change in y over change in x, which is still correct. And that's what it says here, change in y, change in x. It's also known as rise over run. Now, the slope m of a line is a ratio of the change in y to the change in x between any 2 points, x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2 on the line. Here's your little reading passage here. In the slope formula, x sub 1 is read as x sub 1, and y sub 2 is read as y sub 2. The numbers 1 and 2 in that are called subscripts. So, looking here, we have any 2 points going left to right. The rise is the change in y, and find the change of 2 numbers, you subtract them. Same thing with x. So we take one y value subtracted from one y value, and one x value subtracted from the other x value. So as you can see here, a positive slope, the line rises from left to right. Negative slope, the line falls from left to right. Example number 1, find the slope of the line. So finding the slope of the line, describe the slope of a line, then find the slope. Now, in this problem, I will tell you that they will never give you like the actual 5 and 6. So we're going to pretend the 5 and 6 are not there. Now, in this example, we would describe it as the line rises from left to right, so the slope is positive. Now, it does not matter to me if you want to take this 3, 4 or this negative 3, negative 1 and start with either one. So as you can see, I write down the slope, m equals. I am letting x sub 2, y sub 2 be the 3, 4, and x sub 1, y sub 1 be these two values. So if I subtract my y values, 4 minus negative 1, this is not 4 minus 1, it's 4 minus negative 1, which is 4 plus 1, that's 5. And then 3 minus negative 3, which is 6. So my slope is 5/6. Now, if you did it the other way, let's say you subtracted this and this. So I could have done it the other way and said m equals, subtracted negative 1 minus 4. And then, notice if I started with negative 1 though, on the bottom I have to start with negative 3. So that would give me negative 3 minus 3. That gives me negative 5 over negative 6, which actually simplifies into positive 5/6. It means the same thing. So in B, what happens to your graph? It goes downhill. So we would describe it as the line falls from left to right, so the slope is negative. If I subtract my y's, I could take negative 2, which is right here, minus 1, which gives me negative 3. So negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. And then 1 minus negative 1 is 2. So negative 3/2 would be my slope. And you could always check it by looking here and saying, okay, I go down 3, right 2. Here you could go up 5, right 6. If you just want to look at these and figure out the slope yourself, this is extra examples. You can skip over this if you'd like. But if you did it correctly, this one would be negative 1/5, number 2 would be 1/3, and number 3 would be 5/2. I already have the answer done on this one because it's so easy. In this problem, find the slope of a line. You have a horizontal line. Now, look at here. Your y value is 5, the other one is 5. So if I subtract my y values, you're going to get 5 minus 5 over 6 minus negative 1. If you did it the other way and started with this point, you could do 5 minus 5 over negative 1 minus 6, which is 0 over negative 7. Either way, 0 divided by anything is 0. Your slope is 0. Now in example 3, find the slope of a vertical line. So if I subtract my x values, let's say 6 minus 2, that gives me 4, and my y values gives me 4, and my x value, my difference, gives me 0. 4 divided by 0. Now wait a minute. Because division by 0 is undefined, the slope is undefined. So here, the slope, this is your study tip, this is important. So, oh, my laundry's done. I apologize for the beeping, I'm now back. So study tip. The slope of every horizontal line is 0. The slope of every vertical line is undefined. Now, if you wanted to do these on your own, you can. Otherwise, you can skip over this. Number 4, the change in y is 0. So this would be 0. 5 would be 0. The change in x and 6 is 0, so that means this is undefined, as is number 7. How do you know that the slope of every horizontal line is 0? How do you know the slope of every vertical line is undefined? Because if you have a slope of every horizontal line, that would mean the y does not change. The change in y is 0. The change in x is 0 in a vertical line, which is undefined. Example 4. The points in this table lie on a line. How can you find the slope of the line from the table? What is the slope? Here is the great news. There are so many ways to do this. I love this. You have 4 ordered pairs. You have the ordered pair 1, 8, 4, 6, 7, 4, and 10, 2. If you pick any 2 points, you can find the slope. I could pick the 1, 8 and 10, 2, or 4, 6 and 7, 4. It does not matter. I'm going to pick these 2 and find the slope. M equals, if I subtract my y values, 6 minus 8, subtract my x values, 4 minus 1, that gives me a slope of negative 2 over 3, which gives me a slope of negative 2/3. You could also do this. My change in x is 3 each time. My change in y is minus 2. So, change in y is negative 2 divided by change in x is 3, same thing. Now, if you actually wanted to, if you wanted to check it, you could go one step further and you could graph and show me that it goes downhill at a rise of negative 2 and a run of 3. And example number 9 and 10, if you wanted to do these on your own, which is completely up to you, you would find that 9 would give you 3/2 and 10 would give you negative 2. Your summary would look like this. A positive slope goes uphill from left to right, negative slope falls from left to right, slope of 0 is horizontal, and a slope of undefined is vertical.